So last time on How to Start Gardens, I showed taking grass and kind of ripping it out by hand and turning it into gardens. But I got a slightly bigger spot now that we want to turn into growing some extra things. We want to get some squashes, butternut squash, acorn squash. So those actually get planted into mounds about 6 feet apart. And so rather than ripping out giant sections of the grass, I'm just going to go ahead and cover it for the next 4 to 6 weeks and kind of get the grass down, and then I'm going to come back over it and once that's done, when the plants are able to be planted straight out. So the first step I'm doing, which I'm actively doing right now, is basically you want to wet down the area that you want to put and kill the grass down on. So this actually is good because it kind of gets the soil moist and will really help when you put the tarp over it to really kind of, I guess, kill the main items that are underneath, i.e. the grass, and then it'll allow to kind of come back in over that afterwards. So step one is I'm gonna wet down the area and then throw the tarp over it and come back in a month or two and then see what's left underneath. So this will make it a lot more pliable, and I won't have to remove the grass matter and bring it somewhere else. So this will allow everything to remain in place. If you're doing large areas, you definitely want to do something like this. Or what you can also do is sheet, put down layers of cardboard and bring in all new soil on top of that. But that's can be pretty resource intensive and expensive. So this kind of is a cheaper way, basically with the tarp, which I got laid out over here. I'm going to bring and wet down the area and throw the tarp over it. So once I'm done with that, I'll wait a little bit, and then I can later on show you what you want to do once you kind of take the tarp off and what that looks like. Here's what we ended up with. So kind of show from a little farther away. We got kind of our main garden beds over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a section right in front of the house. So like I said, we're going to do squashes, and those are going to be able to be planted in mounds that are kind of 6 feet apart. So what we're just going to do is prevent the grass from growing there at this moment, and then come back in probably 4 to 8 weeks, take that tarp up, be left with a little bit more soil. It's a little easier to work with, and then turn under the parts that we want to use for the planting, bring in some compost for those mounds, and then wood chip the rest and mulch the rest, kind of keep the soil and moisture in. So that will then kind of connect fluidly with the rest of the garden. That wasn't really a ton of grass, but that can kind of be used anywhere where you might want to start a garden in a month or two. Kind of lay out a tarp, let it do its work. So we got a more heavy-duty tarp. I would definitely recommend the thinner ones. The sun really breaks them down. So a thicker tarp, and the black is a good color to have facing up. It really takes the sun, and it can really go to work on the grass underneath, especially on sunny days, because you really want that heat to take care of that. So that's all I got for now, and I'll show you what it looks like in a couple months when I come back and kind of turn that under. So it's been a couple months, and we're going to pull off the tarp, and then we're going to see what's underneath. And it's pretty much just bare soil. And then we're going to come through and take the tarp off. And what I'm going to do is plant some squash. So I'm going to take some compost, create little piles, and then and plant into them. So that's what we'll do, and I'll show you after tarp comes off what it looks like.